One of my private, I guess if I'm saying it now, it's not private anymore, in terms of a dream. Whether that's a Final Four, whether that's, winning it all. We're saying, why not? And we're also saying, well, anything can happen. That's been the track we've been on, an upstart, a contender, a winner, a champion, and a dynasty. We've been trying to lay it out exactly that way. And it drives me to think about the Tommy Lee Joneses and the Zuckerbergs and the Gates and President Obamas, folks like that, to celebrate the current team at Harvard. How cool would that be? Embracing, their time at Harvard. It can happen. John,
What's up, Coach? Good to see you, man.
How you been, brother?
Great. Suit, no ties in.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us in your home here.
No, this is, I'm glad you could spend some time here.
We shoot the slate here, guys. Mark. John, take it away.
The home base of Tommy Amaker. A long time ago, a young Mike Krzyzewski went into the home of a younger Tommy Amaker. What was that like?
Well, it's been a few years, obviously.
Just 10 or 15?
Yeah, we'd like to think that. But we actually did the home visits at my high school coach's house. So that was pretty good for us because it was closer to the school. We did all the coaches that came there and being recruited by other, coaches and programs, Maryland, Wake Forest, and UVA, and different schools. But I was always in love with Coach K and just felt a bond with him and
Why?
Trusted him, believed in him, and I felt he felt that way about me, which is, when you have those kind of connections that can go back and forth, it's pretty powerful.
How did you feel that before he was Coach K? Because you kind of took a leap of faith. Duke wasn't Duke when you were recruited.
I think some other guys believed in him as well. Johnny Dawkins and Jay Billis, and was a class before me. That was kind of that initial top-ranked class, breakthrough class. But seeing that it was at the ground floor and being able to recognize, I'm not saying that we knew he was going to go on to become who he is today.
Sure.
I've always said about him, I think he was my best teacher. I grew up in a family of teachers. My mother taught for 50 years in a public school system in the Washington, D.C. area in Fairfax County, Virginia. And, being a teacher is a powerful, powerful thing.
Now, you mentioned that he's your best teacher in life. Tommy Amaker had to go from being a great player to somebody who wanted to coach. Yeah. When was that moment, and how did Coach K shepherd you through that process?
I always wanted to play, as most players do. I was no different. Getting drafted and cut in the NBA by the Seattle Supersonics. Now you're trying to reevaluate some things and kind of regroup. And I had a chance to come back, and certainly Coach K to welcome me back to be his grad assistant. And I was amazed at being behind the scenes now, how much goes into, having a great program. He could be a major Fortune 500 CEO, chairman of the board of various companies, and to watch him operate as his success grew, and certainly the pulls and people and opportunities came his way, and still to manage all that. I marvel at who he is, and but more importantly, how he's done it.
When we hired Tommy, we were the only school in the league that hadn't won an Ivy League championship. We were struggling. I asked him, why are you interested in Harvard? Right off the bat, he said, Bob, my mother was a teacher. I actually really believe that I teach valuable lessons through the sport of basketball. And there's no better place to do it than a place that values education as much as Harvard.
Few realize just how challenging it can be to be a head coach at Harvard. You're talking about students that are committed to life off of the court. I know for a fact Coach Amaker has had to deal with students who have come to him, and they're opting not to play their junior and senior year because they're preparing for medical school. And what are you going to do? Threaten their scholarship? These are the kids that you recruited.
Hey, our job with the one offense with 6 defenders is what?
We got to move the ball. The first available, easiest pass. You got 24 seconds on the shot clock. Play. Hard cut. Hard cut.
His level of success, it is a byproduct of the way that he lives his life.
Out of bounds, Price. Silly turnover. White, you're off. Black going down.
You know, I'm the plumber professor of Christian morals, but Coach Amaker is one I look at as an example. I mean, you're talking about a man who doesn't drink, who doesn't smoke, who barely curses.
Come on, Robert! It's wide open!
And from my understanding from his wife, he wakes up every day without an alarm clock, and he doesn't nap. I mean, so sometimes I wonder if the brother's a monk. I mean...
First available, easiest pass.
He's opened people's eyes up to the possibility that exists at Harvard for a broader range of students than had been seen before. So in a sense, he's helped Harvard as well as Harvard basketball.
Travel. We're going to show you on film. It's exactly what you're doing. You're catching it. You're traveling before you put it down. Come on.
There's a pretty good history of athletics, and if you go way back,
Finest comeback anyone could ever remember.
in 1852, we had a Yale-Harvard rowing race that started intercollegiate athletics.
And the Crimson are going back to the NCAA tournament.
We have great sports at Harvard. We have 42 varsity sports, 21 women, 21 men.
Shot and scoring.
We have the largest athletic department of any college university in the country. Going to the NCAA tournament and being in March and all those things, March Madness can be electrifying for institutions, for programs, for players, coaches.
And Harvard has won their first NCAA tournament game ever.
The connection of our campus community kind of rallied around something that was exciting because we had never done it before. And hitting that mark was a great feeling for our institution. We're not trying to limit ourselves just because we happen to play basketball at Harvard. We're doing it to be the very best. And that means win a national championship, go to the Final Four. Yeah, we should have those kinds of thoughts.
The Harvard Crimson with their second ever NCAA tournament victory.
We represent arguably the highest in all of higher education. Why shouldn't we think of that?
Well, life experience shapes all of us. You're seasoned, you're more grizzled, you have more calluses.
Yeah.
And before becoming the head coach at Harvard, you're the head coach at Michigan, and you're the head coach at Seton Hall. At 32 years old in the Big East.
31.
31.
I didn't realize that I was that young, until I was told that in a press conference, and it made me like, whoa, I didn't realize I was. But I do think that you can be young in certain ways, but you can be experienced and wise in others. And I wanted the opportunity. We were hopeful for, that moment there, and we were blessed and fortunate to get it and did the best we could with it and made it, did some really neat things there.
How hard was it at Seton Hall to sell something that wasn't Duke? Because really, up until that point, all you had known was Duke.
No, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Seton Hall, because it was different. Get outside of my, maybe comfort zone or level, if you will, and to really, you talk about test yourself and measure yourself, and being in a big conference like the Big East, and I was very blessed to get that opportunity to be part of that for 4 years.
Did you see similar attributes in Harvard that you saw at Duke, maybe at a lower level, though, when you were thinking about taking the job?
Very similar. The thing about going to Duke was about the institution, about Coach K, and about the style of play that we wanted to institute at Duke. And I was a big part of that, in my younger years. And so thinking of Harvard, the brand of Harvard, the institution, doesn't get any better than that, as we know. And then to think about trying to build and grow a program with a style of play, and hoping that, we could do something that had never been done before at Harvard. I mean, that still blows my mind to think of making history at Harvard was kind of one of the stronger pursuits of it, for me personally, and to think that we'd had a chance to do that and we've done it is, I'm very proud of that, very, very proud. Siani Chambers has been absolutely the most important player in our program, and we've given him that label, and he's deserved that. I've never wavered from 1 second thinking that we're in great hands when the program and the ball is in his hands.
Actually, the first letter I ever got was from Coach Amaker. At first, I didn't want to come here. I kind of put him off, kept receiving letters, but didn't really think much of it. I had a couple offers, but after my official visit here, I committed right away. It was the relationship I built with Coach, with the players. They had a vision of making it to the NCAA tournament, advancing in the tournament, and then becoming a powerhouse in the Ivy League. That's what I wanted to accomplish. Every senior class wants to leave a little more of a legacy than the last class did. They see that kind of run and they don't want to be the team to kind of mess that up. But Coach really talks about trying to get away from that mentality and not trying to defend something, but go after it again. We got to fight for it.
Coach. What's going on?
Good to see you.
Normal, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Thanks
That's
for
right.
coming. Thanks for coming.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Ready?
Yeah, I am.
All right, let's
do it.
This is Professor Ron Sullivan, who's faculty dean of Winthrop House here on campus. He and his wife Stephanie, and that's a very special, prominent, and influential position on our campus. But he's also a tenured law professor here and also a founding member of our Breakfast Club, which of all the things I've said, that might be the most important.
And Coach and I were appointed the same year.
That's right.
So that's 2007, and that's when we got to know each other.
Yep.
So the Breakfast Club, I mean, had an interesting origin. So at the time, Tommy was the only African-American head coach. And we said, we got to make this brother feel welcome here at Harvard, make sure he sticks around. And so we invited him to breakfast. And it just started growing and growing and growing. Now it's a group of about 60 people. We don't talk shop, don't talk about papers we've written or books we've written, but, usually just talk about fun stuff, mainly basketball. People freely lie about their athletic prowess, former athletic prowess, and nobody calls them on it. He's not as closed as Belichick. So sometimes we'll get a little insight into what he's thinking about the team.
And they also try to tell me I should play more zone, who to play. So we dig into it now. I mean, we understand. We peel it back and. But no, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
And,
always a pleasure.
We'll see you Saturday.
Absolutely.
Maybe Saturday game.
Yeah, at the game. I'll bring the little guy, and he'll be looking forward to seeing Siani.
What has Tommy Amaker learned about himself here at Harvard that he didn't know prior to taking the post?
Being here has opened other doors, opportunities to serve and to get engaged, with other sectors of Harvard, the Harvard community, being an executive fellow at the Harvard Business School, being able to go and try to impart, leadership and teamwork, to be a part of the Harvard Kennedy School, to engage in the IOP, the Institute of Politics, or be a part of the Advisory Council for the Center for Public Leadership, to build friendships and relationships in areas that are so far removed from the 94-by-50 playing court of a basketball court. I love that. Whether it's Governor Patrick or Governor Baker or individuals that come to our Breakfast Club to be a part of this group. That's wonderful for me to feel like I've been able to learn and involve myself and engage myself with others like that. Those are the kinds of opportunities that sports can give, and certainly the kind of opportunity that Harvard can present. I like this archway with the Veritas. It's a pretty cool thing there. See the history of this place when you start looking around, and things have been here for a while. It's pretty neat. This is one of the houses where former President John F. Kennedy lived. How are you, Michael? Good to see you. Good to see you, brother. This is one of the fellows of the Institute of Politics. This is an amazing man here.
I'm from the Bronx, Mike Blake, we're from the Bronx. So anytime the coach is out, we're going to know he's doing some good things right now.
We're working. Good to see you, brother.
All
right, thanks so much. All right, tell everybody hello in there, okay?
I'll see you at the breakfast.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. I'm still looking for our players, see if they're coming out of the library. I haven't seen any yet. But that's why those kids are here. That's why they aspire to come to this great place and set higher standards for future generations to come. Hey there, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing, man? Listen, I got some young prospects I want to come holler you about.
Well, we need them.
Okay, we'll talk.
Okay.
I'll come see you, Doc.
Will do. Thank
Bless
you.
man.
Thank
Take
you.
care now.
Going on 10 years, which is amazing that I'm thinking of a decade of my, time and tenure in thinking about how wonderful this place makes you feel. All right, you guys get your water and have a seat. Here we go. Good job. Is today your birthday? Any conditioning today, you're out. Just want to say one thing, all right? And I know we've kind of talked about a lot of different stuff and kind of been all over the map where we are. We're not where we want to be with our team, and I get it. I get where you guys are and where you're feeling, and it's kind of uncertainty with some things. We can't feel like we're ever questioning, our identity. I want to read you a quote that's the great Oliver Wendell Holmes, and you guys need to look up who that is. He's a Harvard guy, okay? And the great thing he always said is this: not so much, where you stand in this world, but rather what direction are you moving? And all of us. I don't mean that just with, guys who are starting and scoring points. I'm talking about everybody on our team. What direction are you moving, Robbie? What direction are you going, Balsha? And I want to say this, we need to know, we're following him. All right? Corbin and Siani are our captains, and obviously both of those guys are our leaders of our team. But we're following Siani. That goes to everybody in it. No one is above that. That's the way that it is. And so when he says it, we're doing it. And obviously Siani's been our starting point guard and our leader on our court since the day he's arrived. That hasn't changed. It's not so much where we stand, what direction. What's our direction? That's what I want to say. Let's go right now. Come on. 1, 2, 3.
So many people in college basketball always thought that you get a job at a lower level, you win, and then you move on. Why haven't you done that here? And why do you think other people are showing more restraint maybe than they would 10 or 15 years ago?
Well, I think part of it, John, I think you're looking at the grass isn't always greener. I was told a long time ago by a wonderful guy, Calvin Hill, by the way, Grant Hill's father. Grant Hill's father. But he always said, the grass is always greener on the other side until you have to pay the other man's water bill.
Was that when you were recruiting Grant that year?
Probably. It was many years ago when I heard him say that, and he said that in conversation, and I always remember that. And I just think that's a great saying, and it's something to think about. But also, there's nothing wrong with feeling like you belong. There's nothing wrong with feeling like you're happy or you're fulfilled. And I think as you get a little bit older, some of those things kind of, I think, register a little bit more.
You said to me many times that if your bio read that your final head coaching job in Division I and in college basketball was at Harvard, you'd be nothing but honored. Is that because you've already seen what things are like at the higher level?
Well, I think we've never gone to any place that if we went there, we didn't feel like we'd want to be there forever. That's partly how we evaluate opportunities. I could see us being here forever. And you're right, I would be incredibly honored to have served, this institution and this community, and most importantly, the student athletes and the kids who have come here with us to participate and to learn and to grow, to get better for their lives, if we could be a part of that for a number of years to come, I'm not sure that you could ask for much more. And literally anything can happen at Harvard. Anything can happen here. That doesn't exclude, great basketball. And we believe in that. We've proven that. We wanted to become that first group of individuals winning the Ivy League. How magical would that be? That's been a number of years ago now, but that's the beginning, the genesis of process, the grind, and we've already seen some things ignite. We've already been a part of, some of the process to have it take shape and be what it is right now. But to think that we could actually elevate that even more, we want to sustain some things. We want to see if we can become consistently excellent, over a longer period of time. Which sometimes doesn't kind of get connected with our brand. That's exactly who we are. To celebrate so much that has happened with our institution and to be proud of that. People in the stands and winning and how do you do that? Well, you do, day by day, step by step. Anything can happen here. And I love it.